Caitlin Clark has clear Stephanie White view and has already revealed private chats. Caitlin Clark hailed Stephanie White as a trailblazer before revealing the private conversations they've had with each other. Clark, 22, has quickly become a global star in the WNBA with her mind-blowing playing style and jaw-dropping ability to hit three-pointers. Her first season as a guard with Indiana Fever ended with her claiming the WNBA Rookie of the Year award after breaking 7 records. Her game may be about to reach a new level as White has been linked with a spectacular move to Fever following the departure of Christy Sides. Given Clark's previous comments on White, the pair would appear to have an excellent working relationship. In a previous interview, Clark was asked about her thoughts on the experienced coach. The Iowa native said, "She's obviously called a lot of my games all throughout college. I just think she has a really great basketball mind. I think she's done a great job of calling college games. It's been great seeing her on NBA games. I think what she's done is she's obviously been a trailblazer. Honestly, I think she's always been somebody that's been supportive of my game. It's been fun to talk to her at shootarounds throughout my college career and I've always been really supported." White was dismissed by Connecticut Sun on October 28, after guiding them to a 28-12 record. However, after failing to progress past the semifinal for 2 consecutive seasons, White was relieved of her duties. She has also been linked with a move to Chicago Sky, although the Fever are still believed to be the favorites for her signature. White also spent 4 years playing for Fever between 2000 and 2004. Moreover, she has also revealed her own personal thoughts about Clark's progress. When the 22-year-old was being criticized for her early displays, White was one of the first to come to her defense. She said, "I'm looking at all these things that all these people are talking about with Caitlin Clark. I'm like, guys, chill out. She's going to be fine. It's 2 games in. Are you kidding me? She's a student of the game. She got better every year in college. It takes time. Everybody on the floor understands how, when and where Caitlin Clark can get them the ball. And so they get there. Kelsey Mitchell's obviously playing at another level now, and so it gives you another player on the floor that you have to be mindful of on and off ball in isolation and in 2-man. Caitlin Clark has already revealed true feelings on Stephanie White appointment. Caitlin Clark holds potential new Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White in high regard, hailing the former Connecticut Sun figure as a great basketball mind. The Fever decided to move on from Christy Sides following a fairly productive 2024 WNBA season that saw the franchise reach the playoffs with number 1 pick Clark. Reports suggest that Indiana is looking at White, who's a former player of the Fever. White departed the Sun this offseason following 2 years at the franchise, and the 47-year-old has a rich history with Indiana basketball. White was the 1995 Indiana Miss Basketball, and she also led Purdue to the Women's Basketball National Championship in 1999. She played 4 out of her 5 seasons in the WNBA at the Fever. White returned to the Fever in 2011 as an assistant coach and was promoted to head coach in 2015. After 2 seasons, she moved on to Vanderbilt University before returning to the WNBA in 2023 for the Sun. White would be a popular appointment with Clark. "She's obviously called a lot of my games all throughout college, and I think she has a really great basketball mind," Clark said earlier this year. "I think she's done a great job calling college games. It's been great to see her on NBA games. I think what she's done is she obviously has been a trailblazer, honestly. I think she's somebody who's been supportive of my game and it's been fun to talk to her at shootarounds throughout my college career and has always been really supportive." Clark added, "Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is it's fun going up against her here now for my first time after her calling a lot of my games. Now I get to play against her, so that's going to be a lot of fun for the both of us." The WNBA is enjoying a long off-season before it restarts next May. An expansion draft will take place later this year, with the Golden State Valkyries joining the WNBA. Clark will play basketball this offseason, signing up to the new unrivaled Women's Basketball League. The 22-year-old was reportedly offered a 7-figure package, as well as other incentives. The 3 vs 3 tournament will be played in Miami, Florida, early next year, with Angel Reese also competing. Clark will also play golf, in a stunning twist. The WNBA star is a keen golfer. She is preparing to take part in the Pro-Am at the Onica, the penultimate event on the LPGA Tour. Chicago Basketball Report: Shaquille O'Neal faces backlash for Angel Reese comments, and which locals made the Windy City Bulls camp roster. NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal is facing backlash from fans after making a series of sexist comments on an episode of Chicago Sky star Angel Reese's podcast Unapologetically Angel. On the 8th episode of the podcast, which has included guests such as Sheryl Swoopes and Dwayne Wade, O'Neal returned to a tired line of calling for the WNBA to lower the basket to encourage dunking and repeatedly said the league should sexualize players by requiring them to wear more revealing uniforms. "Imagine you in the same little shorts you had on at the Wild 'N Out show," dunking, O'Neal said. "You know how many t-shirts you're going to sell?" Reese rolled her eyes before shutting down the conversation, repeating "all right" and refusing to engage with O'Neal until he changed topics. But the brief exchange highlighted the unwanted sexualization that has followed Reese, and many other WNBA players, throughout her career. O'Neal has been an important mentor to Reese since she was in college. He walked her onto the court on LSU's senior night, a role typically reserved for a father figure. He is also functionally her boss, both as the president of Reebok Basketball, for which Reese is the face of the line and set to launch a signature shoe in 2025, and as a founder of the Big Podcast Network, which circulates Reese's podcast. The exchange was only a brief segment of the hour-long episode, in which O'Neal offered advice to Reese on her professional development, discussed his personal life and talked through future developments at Reebok.